Shane van Gisbergen didn't just win at Watkins Glen, he turned the entire NASCAR world upside down. The New Zealander, already the winningest foreign-born driver in Cup Series history, crossed the line more than 11 seconds ahead of the field, in a race that left some fans in awe and others wondering if anyone can stop him. This wasn't just another win, this was revenge. 1 year ago, SVG lost this very race in heartbreaking fashion after a final lap mistake. This time, there were no errors, no close calls, just pure dominance. And to top it off, the victory came the very same weekend he inked a multi-year extension with Trackhouse Racing, locking himself into a team that clearly knows how to deliver him a winning car. "Good to get that one back," SVG said afterward. "What an awesome race. The last stint was a bit cleared out, but the battle coming back through, I had a lot of fun. Car was just amazing again. I definitely gave that bus stop wall another meter on that last lap, but yeah, awesome." His tone? Calm, controlled, almost like it wasn't even a challenge. The race itself was quick and clean, wrapping up in just over 2 hours. Christopher Bell finished a distant second, Chris Buescher third, William Byron fourth, and Chase Briscoe rounded out the top 5. Pole sitter Ryan Blaney managed 6th, followed by Daniel Suarez, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and Ross Chastain. In the playoff hunt, Buescher's third-place finish gave him a critical 34-point cushion over his teammate Ryan Preece for the final postseason spot. But let's be honest, most of the attention wasn't on the playoff bubble. All eyes were locked on SVG's charge. From the drop of the green flag, Ryan Blaney led the field with SVG right behind. Kyle Larson's day went south early with a spin in turn 1 and brake problems that sent him to the garage. Stage 1 saw Chris Buescher stay out to win, grabbing valuable playoff points. But that gamble backfired when the RFK cars, along with Chase Elliott, couldn't hold their spots after the restart. That restart, by the way, was when SVG sliced through the pack like a hot knife through butter, taking the lead and never really letting go. A small pileup behind Elliott saw Josh Berry hit the Armco barrier, bringing out a debris caution. SVG made a bold call to pit before the end of Stage 2, dropping him to 20th, but it set up his run for the win. By the final stage, Blaney was leading on worn tires, SVG was back in 12th, and it took only a few laps for the New Zealander to blow past everyone in sight. By the time SVG made his last pit stop with 27 laps to go, the outcome felt inevitable. He cycled back into the lead and simply disappeared from view. Bell and Buescher were left to scrap over second place, while SVG put on a clinic in pace and precision. This win wasn't just another notch in the belt, it was his 4th straight road course victory, breaking the NASCAR Cup Series rookie record for most wins in a season. Jeff Gluck of The Athletic put it bluntly, "Goodbye Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson. SVG is now tied for the lead in Cup Series victories for the season with Denny Hamlin. Are you ready to admit yet that he's the greatest road course driver in NASCAR Cup Series history?" Not everyone was ready to crown him the GOAT, though. Fellow insider Jordan Bianchi wasn't prepared to put SVG ahead of legends like Jeff Gordon or Chase Elliott just yet, but he didn't hold back on the praise. "This is what dominance is," Bianchi said. "When you are so good, you are so great, and it feels like you're toying with the competition. You make it look boring. He makes the routine look boring, but he is so good at this. What he did today and how he managed this race, he doesn't make mistakes on the racetrack." For SVG, the milestone meant more than just a stat line. "It means everything," he said. "The prep that we go through, not just for these road courses, but we do it every week. I feel like we've gotten a lot better, especially on the ovals. And it's been cool working with a great bunch of people. To share 4 wins with everyone and seeing how much it meant to everyone during the burnout, you can see how into it they are." But here's the twist. SVG's greatness is starting to expose NASCAR's weakness. While his drive was flawless, many insiders called the Watkins Glen race one of the most boring in years. The lack of drama, crashes, or late race battles had Jeff Gluck calling it the worst race I've seen. He even suggested NASCAR cut down the number of road courses entirely. "SVG is stinking up the show," Gluck said, pointing out that without him, the race might have been closer, but the road course product is struggling no matter who's in the field. And that leaves NASCAR with a strange problem. They have a new superstar, but his dominance might be too good for the show. And the way things are going, it doesn't look like anyone is close to stopping him. Shane van Gisbergen's latest win didn't just make history, it also poured gasoline on a growing debate inside NASCAR. The question isn't just whether SVG is the best road course driver in the sport right now. The bigger, messier question is whether his dominance is making NASCAR more exciting or slowly draining the thrill out of it. On paper, SVG is a promoter's dream, a foreign star with a magnetic personality, 4 wins in his rookie season, and a style that looks effortless. But when he's crossing the finish line 11 seconds ahead of the next car, week after week on road courses, the suspense is gone before the checkered flag even drops. As Jeff Gluck said, SVG aside, this just was not any sort of a good race today. There's probably nothing you can do to thwart SVG. That's the kind of statement that sounds like a compliment but lands like a warning. Part of the problem is timing. NASCAR is already fighting a season that insiders say feels flat. There haven't been many wild finishes, heated rivalries, or big-name clashes. Fans are used to moments that break out of the racing bubble, those highlight clips of drivers shoving each other, surprise winners, or nail-biting photo finishes. This year, not much of that. Right now, it just feels like we're in the waiting game, Gluck said, adding that NASCAR's energy comes from unbelievable finishes or some drivers getting into it. And instead of those fireworks, the sport is seeing race after race where one driver, SVG, makes it look easy. Bianchi agrees there's a hole in NASCAR's entertainment factor, and it's not just the lack of drama on track. It's about personalities. Are any of them really larger than life right now? Are they Jeff Gordon? Are they a Dale Earnhardt Jr.? Are they a Tony Stewart? He asked. In his view, the sport doesn't have the same star power it used to, the kind that shows up on late-night TV or music award shows. Add to that the missing ingredient of a proper rivalry, and you've got a recipe for a season that feels safe. Too safe. In NASCAR's best eras, 2 big names were at each other's throats every week. That's not happening right now. There are hints of what could be coming. One name getting attention is Carson Hocevar, a young driver who doesn't mind stirring the pot. He's been in feuds before and isn't afraid to speak his mind. He truly at this point in his career is like, I don't care, and he's fueling the fire, Gluck said. The hope is that if Hocevar starts winning, he could be one half of the rivalry NASCAR desperately needs. But for now, it's just potential, and NASCAR's waiting for the other half of that equation to appear. Meanwhile, SVG's success is forcing NASCAR to rethink how many road courses should be on the schedule. Next season will already have 1 fewer, with Mexico City and Chicago off the calendar and San Diego coming in. Gluck thinks that's still too many. Certainly, I don't think there's any argument to keep this current number of 6 per year. When you get to a 2-hour race and you're just like, I can't wait for this to end, that's not good. His words make it clear. The problem isn't just SVG's dominance. It's that the style of racing itself isn't delivering drama. The irony here is sharp. NASCAR's biggest complaint has always been that there aren't enough truly dominant drivers anymore, the kind who win with authority. And now that they have one, people are worried it's too much. SVG's skill is almost surgical. He doesn't make mistakes, doesn't give rivals an opening, and doesn't get rattled. That's part of what makes him incredible. But it's also why some races feel like they're over before they begin. Fans tune in hoping for chaos. Instead, they're getting perfection. Still, it's not like SVG's going to apologize for being great. The prep that we go through, not just for these road courses, but we do it every week, he said after the race. His focus isn't on making things closer, it's on winning. And as long as Trackhouse Racing keeps giving him the tools, there's no reason to think he won't keep doing just that. For the rest of the field, that's a nightmare. For SVG, it's just business as usual. The big question now is what this means for the playoffs. If SVG keeps this momentum, he could steamroll through them, especially if the schedule lines up in his favor. But if NASCAR wants more unpredictable finishes, more rivalries, more personality clashes, it might have to wait for someone willing and able to step up and challenge him. Because right now, SVG's not just the man to beat. He's the mountain everyone else is trying to climb. And from the looks of Watkins Glen, that mountain is getting steeper every week. So here's the debate. Is SVG the savior NASCAR's been waiting for, or the very reason it feels like the sport has lost its edge?